guys, Ashley Marie here. Today we're going to be doing a very exciting video. This is going to be a makeup tutorial for beginners. It might be on the longer side because I'm going to be giving you some tips and tricks, what brushes you should be using, sort of like a starter kit if you want to do a full face but you don't know where to start. All of these products are from the drugstore because if you're just starting in makeup, I'm sure you don't want to be spending $40 to $50 on a foundation. This video was actually requested by my mom, who is a beginner in makeup. So I'm going to go through every single step that will give you a flawless finish, flawless face, and how to do it, what brushes to use, and various different products in each category. So if you like this video, make sure you like, share, subscribe. Please subscribe, guys. And I'm here every Tuesday and Thursday, so let's get into the video. So I zoomed you guys in a bit closer, and let me grab my mirror. So I zoomed in a bit closer, so let's start off with what you should be starting with. Make sure your face is clean and moisturized before you do any makeup. Makeup is not gonna go well over textured, bumpy, dry skin, so make sure that you've cleaned your face, make sure that you've applied a nice moisturizer so you have a great base before you start. Skincare is gonna make your makeup look a lot better. So once you get your skincare regimen down, which I'm gonna be doing a video on that soon, you can really make your makeup base look flawless. So when I'm talking to my mom about makeup, I really like to break it down into what steps you need to do. First, you always want to start off with a primer. Some people don't use primers, but the reason why I love them so much is like primer to paint on walls. It gives you a great base, basically. So I'm going to be recommending two different primers. I use two primers every day, but if you're starting, you can kind of pick which one suits you the best. This is a Wet n Wild PhotoFocus Water Drop Primer in Cucumber. This primer is going to be really good for hydrating the skin. So if you have more dry skin, this could be really good for you. I'm going to be applying this while I talk to you guys. Even if I have oily skin, and the reason why I like to use a hydrating primer is because I feel like it allows my skin not to create so many oils throughout the day because my skin is so hydrated, because oily skin is simply dehydrated skin. Your skin is producing more oils because it's dehydrated. Dry skin can be flaky and things, so you want to apply a hydrating primer in order to make sure that your skin is really hydrated before you put any makeup on. Also, primer allows the foundation to just sit really nicely on the skin. The second primer I'm going to be recommending you guys, this is the E.L.F. Poreless Putty Primer. The reason I love this primer so much is it does what it says it's going to do. It's going to make your skin look poreless. I have pretty big pores around my cheeks, on my chin, so I really like to use this primer to fill in the pores. If you have more mature skin, your pores are most likely a little bit bigger. So I would recommend a pore filling primer in your T-zone area. Like I was saying earlier, you don't have to use both of these primers. You can use whichever primer you feel like will suit your skin the best. But if you want that flawless, hydrated, but also pore filling look, you'll want to get both of these. Okay, so I have a lot of foundation recommendations for you today. Well, I only have three. Actually, I have four, but only three are right here. So first, if you're looking for something that's full coverage but has SPF, I would recommend the Maybelline Dream Urban Cover Foundation. I've used this plenty of times on my channel. I'll link a video of me using it up here. This is going to give you full coverage look, but you can skip the step of adding sunscreen after your moisturizer because your foundation has sunscreen in it. It's kind of a 2-in-1 product, which is really good if you're a beginner on the go. Another foundation I would recommend is Loreal Infallible 24-Hour Fresh Wear. This is more medium to full coverage, and this just gives you a nice fresh wash finish. And then here we have the Wet n Wild PhotoFocus Foundation, which is also really good. If you're going to be taking pictures, this is a really nice foundation. Also, the Maybelline Fit Me Foundation is great. So, what you're looking for when you're putting on your foundation. You're going to want to look for a brush that's either fluffy or packing. Those are the two things I like to use. Or you can use a sponge. This is the E.L.F. sponge. This is the Luxie 532 round top blender. And then this is the Moda. It doesn't have a name on it, but it's this nice fluffy brush. Either one of these three will give you a great finish. This is if you want more of a light coverage look, I would say. This really packs foundation on, and this is simple, quick, and gives you, it soaks up some of the product, so it ensures that you don't have a cake face. You can use either one of these. Today I'm going to be using the Moda brush, but either one of those three tools will really work. So today I'm going to go in with the L'Oreal Infallible Fresh Wear. I'm going to speed this part up. So my foundation is on. As you see with the fluffy brush, you're really just like stippling and buffing it into the face. A few things you want to make sure you do when you're doing foundation. Make sure you bring it down the neck. You don't want a demarcation line. Also, less is more. If you're a beginner, make sure you're not going in with like 6 pumps of foundation. It's going to give you a really cakey look. I do about 1 to 1.5 pumps for my whole face, and I'm a big head, so make sure that you're doing something that's just giving you a foundation and not giving you such a cake face. Next, the next step you're going to want to do is concealer. I have 3 different drugstore concealers I will recommend. This is the ColourPop No Filter. You can't get this at like a Walmart or anything, but you can get this at Ulta, and you can also order it online. It's about $6. This is the L'Oreal Infallible Full Wear. I really like this. And this is the E.L.F 16-Hour Camo Concealer. What concealer is used for is it's used on top of foundation because you're going to go in and correct the parts that need more coverage. A concealer is basically a foundation that has a lot more pigment and it's a bit thicker. So if you're looking for a full coverage concealer, this E.L.F one is amazing. But the way I like to apply my concealer, if you're going for like, if you're a beginner and you're going for a look that's not as like dramatic, I would say simply do it right here in the inner corners and kind of dab down. If you want to highlight the face, you can do a little bit on the nose, a little bit on the chin, and a little bit right here on the forehead. I have darker spots here, and if you have any like spots you need to cover up, make sure you're going in with the concealer that is your skin tone. This concealer is about 2 shades lighter than my foundation because I'm using this to highlight. Highlighting and actually like covering up spots is different. I love going in for my concealer with a sponge. Okay, now that my concealer's on, I have a blank canvas. This is what you're looking for. You're probably not gonna have any of that natural flush to the skin anymore because your skin is covered and it's even. That's what you're looking for. So now, this is a step that you can use if you want like an inward glow. This is the Wet n Wild MegaGlo Hello Halo. This is a liquid highlighter. If you're going to be using, the reason I'm adding this is because if you want to use liquid products, make sure you do it before powder. If you add it on top of powder, it can get really clumpy. So I'm just going to apply this to the tops of the cheekbones, and then we'll go on to powders. Liquid highlighter is not necessary. I just added that so you're aware that if you want to use like a liquid blush, a liquid bronzer, a liquid highlight, do it before powder. So now the next essential step is you must go in with powder. I know on mature skin, sometimes you feel like it might make you look a bit drier, but you just have to get really good powders. So a few that I want to recommend. The Maybelline Fit Me Loose Finishing Powder. Absolutely amazing. This is definitely my favorite drugstore finishing powder. They have a bunch of different colors. Or if you want like a pure translucent powder, this is the Wet n Wild PhotoFocus Translucent. And I really love this loose powder. If you want a pressed powder because you don't want loose powder to get everywhere because it can be a little messy, this is a Wet n Wild PhotoFocus pressed powder. Really amazing. You'll just have to pick your exact color in this. And this is the Aquasurance by J-Cat Beauty Compact Foundation. You can use this on top of foundation as well, and make sure you get your exact shade. You may be thinking, what am I looking for powder? The reason you're using powder is because you want your makeup to stay all day. With the translucent powder, which I'm using the Wet n Wild one, I like to go underneath the eyes with like a small little tapering brush. This is the Morphe 438 brush. I'm gonna just take a little bit of powder, just a little bit, and set underneath the eyes and on top of the eyelids. The reason you're using this is you want your makeup to stay all day and not budge. If you have any type of oily skin, your makeup is going to move within the hour, simply because that's what makeup does, unless you set it down. So you can set your whole face, you can set part of your face. I really always like to go right here where my pores are, on my nose as well, because those are the areas that get really oily for me. If you want like a quick, like I'm in a rush, I gotta go, I need to just throw on powder very quickly, this is the Morphe E41 brush. It's huge, as you can see, and I would say just go in with the press compact if you're looking for really, really quick makeup. Brush it around and really just stamp it on top. And this will help your makeup stay all day. So, next, I love to add bronzer. And the reason you want bronzer is because after you've added all those, the powder, the foundation, the concealer, you really have a face that looks pretty flat. You want it to bring some more life back to the skin. So for bronzers, I have two different bronzers that I would recommend. This is the Morphe Highline Contour Palette in Hi-Fi. The reason I would recommend this is because it comes with 4 different shades and 4 different highlighters. We're gonna get into highlighter in a minute. But the reason I like this so much is because you have a shade for basically everyone in medium deep skin tones here, and then they have a low 5 for lighter skin tones. But if you're like, that's overwhelming, that's 8 different colors that I don't know what to do with, I would say just get something like the Wet n Wild MegaGlo Contouring Palette. This obviously is well used, and this is the contour, this is like a matte highlight. And to use this, I just like to go in, there's 2 different methods that you can use. You can use something like the Morphe R2, or you can use something like the Moda Pointed Blush Brush. It's whatever you're going for. This is gonna give you an all over bronze look, just to bring some life back to the face. This is gonna bronze and contour kind of at the same time because it has that more pointed edge. So you can pick which one. I'm gonna use the Pointed Blush Brush today, and I'm gonna be taking the Wet n Wild contour shade. When applying bronzer, you want to make sure that this, if you suck in, this is your contour line right here. I like to apply it right above and on. Never go below because it can get really muddy that way. You want to apply it to the temples and to the forehead. You kind of want to apply bronzer in a 3 shape, from your forehead to your cheekbone to underneath the jawline. See, the coloring really just is coming back into the face. So at first you want to make your skin a flat base, and then you want to add more dimensions back into it. Next, we're going to go on with some highlighters. I have a bunch of different highlighters that you can choose from, so it's whatever your preference is. This is the Master Chrome by Maybelline. This is in the color Molten Rose Gold, and this is more of a pinky undertone. I don't know if you can tell. The lights are kind of, you see, it's more like pinky gold. And then this is, again, the Maybelline Master Chrome. This is in Molten Gold, and this is just like a pure gold highlighter. We also have the Milani Rose Glow Stellar Light Highlighter. It comes with rose gold, a gold, and like a white gold. And then you have the Essence Pure Nude and Be My Sunlight. So this is how you're gonna pick what type of highlighter you want. If you want a highlighter that's like beaming, booming, you can see it from across the office, Julia and the Cubicle and 202 can see your highlight, you want to go with the Master Chromes or the Milani. These are really blinding highlights, but they're so beautiful. However, if you want something that's a lot more subtle, you just want a bit of like a lit from within look, this Essence Pure Nude Sunlight Highlighter is so beautiful. When you swatch it, it looks like absolutely nothing, but when you apply it to the skin, it's so beautiful. So today I'm going to be going in with this because I'm treating this more like if you're going to work, blah, blah, blah. So I would use, you want to use any brush that's just small enough to get right on top of the cheekbones and not something that's too overwhelming. I'm gonna again use the Morphe M438, which we use for powder, and I'm just gonna swirl my brush in there, tap off the excess, and go on top of the cheekbone. So, as you see, this highlight just gives you a lit from within. This is a great beginner's highlight because you can't overdo it. Even if you keep applying and applying and applying, you really cannot overdo it with this highlight. So, you've done your bronzer, you've done your highlight. Next, you want to go in with some blush. I have two different blush options. You can use like a cream blush. This is a NYX Tea Rose. It looks pretty dingy, but that's because I've been using it for a long time. Or you can use the Wet n Wild Color Icon. This is in the color Mellow Wine. Either one. I would say, I know you can apply cream blush. You want to apply this before powder, but if you have a very like light hand, you can actually apply it on top of powder as well. So I'm going to use this today, and for blush, you want to go in with a nice fluffy brush. This is the Real Techniques multicast brush, and I'm just gonna swivel, 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 and kind of stamp it. If you're using a cream blush, stamp it. Don't really like swirl. So you want to apply your blush where, I know a lot of people say when you smile, you want to apply it right here, but the only issue is that is most of the day your face is relaxed, and I don't, if say you apply it all the way up here because you're smiling, so they say do the whole little apple, then it's kind of like when your face is relaxed, it's kind of underneath the eye. So I like to have my face really relaxed and just go right in the middle of that highlight and that bronzer. So before we get to eyeshadow, we're going to talk brows. Brows can be very tricky for beginners. You want to choose a brow product that works for your hair color. This is the E.L.F. brow pencil, and I'm pretty sure I get it in taupe or dark, or like light darker brown, because I like my brows to be a bit lighter, because this is just a type of product I really like. This E.L.F. brow pencil is amazing. For brows, I'm not going to do like a detailed tutorial on brows because I feel like that might take a long time, so I'm just gonna speed this up. But basically what you're looking for is if you're a beginner, follow your natural brow line. Don't try to create a new shape. Don't get crazy, because it can look a bit like, ooh, like Lord. Your eyebrows make them too thick. It just can get very, it can get very sketchy. So I say if you're a beginner, make sure you're just following your natural brow line. Follow what you're naturally given and just enhance it. I simply followed my brow line. You want to make sure you're using the spoolie on the other side to kind of brush that pigment through the brows. And next for brows, you're gonna want to make sure you're setting your brows, because you want your brows to stay in this like uniformed, how you did it is how you filled them in is how you want them all day. Kind of like applying powder on top of foundation, you don't want it to move. This is the Essence Make Me Brow Eyebrow Gel Mascara. This is in the color Soft Brownie Brows. So you can use whatever color, honestly, as long as it's like matching your hair or like a little bit lighter than your hair, or some people like it darker. You're just gonna run this through the brows. Okay, so we have our base basically finished. So we're gonna go in with eyeshadow. I want to be very clear that you do not need a glam look every day with eyeshadow. Eyeshadow can be very tricky when you're first starting with makeup because it's so difficult to know what shades to blend. It can get really patchy to know what brushes to use. So we're gonna keep this really, really simple. 4 brushes is all you need. These are the 4 type of brushes I would say you need if you're starting off with eyeshadow. Do not go in and get like, look how many eyeshadow brushes I have. That's not necessary. If you're looking for a nice look that you can wear every single day, I would say you'll need a Morphe 504 brush, thick, fluffy brush, as you can see. You'll need a Morphe M506. This is a smaller, more tapered blending brush. A Morphe E17, which is again just another blending brush that you can use on top or on your bottom lash line. And then a packing brush. This is the Royal and Langnickel Boom 40 shader. You just need very simple eye brushes. You don't need to go out and buy a whole bunch of brushes because brushes can get very expensive. So for eyeshadows, I'm gonna recommend these Wet n Wild Color Icon little palettes. This is the Rose in the Air, but you don't have to get this one specifically. This is pretty nice. They also, on the back of these, have 2 eyeshadow looks that you can follow. Or if you're looking for a palette that's like, you're like, I want one of those big palettes that everybody's using, but I don't know which one to get. The Jaclyn Hill palette from Morphe is the best Morphe palette I've ever tried, or just simply the best like eyeshadow palette I've ever tried. So, but if you look at all of these and that's way too intimidating for you, just start off with some Wet n Wild palettes. They even have quads that are a lot more simplified. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna use just a couple of shades. We're gonna go in with, so you see it has transition on either side. The first shade you wanna start off with is a transition shade. You can go either transition shade is fine. I'm gonna go with the one on the top. And you wanna dab your brush in there and make sure you're kicking off the excess every time before you go in with any shade. You're gonna run that in your crease. It can be messy because it's just a transition shade. Okay, then you're gonna go in with any mattes go in the crease. Shimmers do not go in the crease. You're using mattes in the crease to define the eye. Shimmers only go on the lids or on the inner corner. So for mattes, today, say I'm going to work, I need a fast, easy look. I'm gonna go into this shade right here. We're gonna do like more of a pinkier look right here where my finger is. That same Morphe M504. Gonna dab in there, make sure you kick off the excess, and you're just gonna do that a little bit lower than the transition shade. It can also be messy. Next brush you're gonna dip into is you're gonna take a little bit more of that shade, but on the Morphe E17. You're gonna make it a little bit closer to the lid. After that, you want to give a little bit more definition to the eye. You're going to tap into this darker brown shade with the same brush. You're going to dab just the tip in, and again, tap off that excess. And you're going to bring this on the outer corner. you got a little messy, go back in with the Morphe M504 in that transition shade. Tap in, tap off the excess, run it around the edges. Okay, now you get to pick what color do you want on the lid. Do you want a matte shade? You can take this little vanilla shade. Do you want a gold shade? You can take this. If you want a like darker shade, you can take this. I'm gonna take the gold, and I'm gonna take that on the flat shader brush. Just dab in there, tap off the excess. If you want this really blinding, spray it with some setting spray that we're gonna talk about in a minute, or with some water. Now the top is done. You want to go underneath the lash line a little bit. You can take the Morphe M506, take whatever matte shade you want. I'm just going to go in with that lighter pink shade that we use, and I'm just going to run that underneath the lash line. That's all. You don't need a bunch of fluff around the eyes, just something simple to make it look like, yeah, I put some effort in today. Then what you want to do is you can use eyeliner. This is optional. You don't have to use eyeliner, it's up to you. If you want to, this is the Loreal Voluminous Smoldering Eyeliner. They're little chubby things. I really like the brown and the black. If you're looking for a natural, like not natural, but like something that's softer, you're going to go with the brown. You're going to go right next to the eye on this little tight line, and above, right underneath the lashes. This gives a little bit of definition to the eyes. Next, you want to go in with mascara. This is the Voluminous Lash Paradise. This is my favorite drugstore mascara. You just want to apply a little bit of mascara on your lashes, top and bottom. Okay, so we're almost done. We have 2 more steps. Next is lips. Lips can be very simple. You can apply a clear gloss, some Aquaphor to the lips, or if you want to go in with a little bit of color, the 2 lip liners I would recommend, which is going to define the lips, is the ColourPop Lippy Pencil in BFF2, or say you wanted a red, you want something punchy. This is the NYX lip liner in Hot Red. I love both of these liners in any color really, so you can pick that. But I would say if you're looking for a nice, simple lipstick that you can just apply every day, this is the Milani. I think these are like their matte lipsticks. This is in the color Teddy Bear, and it's just a nice neutral. You just want to apply this on the lips, and it'll give you like a nice neutral look. Something really simple. Next, what you want to do is you want to spray the face. The reason you're using setting spray is because you've applied all these powders to the face. You kind of want it to sink and melt into the skin. 2 I recommend is the Morphe Continuous Setting Mist or the Wet n Wild PhotoFocus and Rose. They have a bunch of different scents, and like I said, you just want your makeup to sort of soak into the skin. So I'm going to spray the face. So guys, we're finished here. If you did want to do all these steps, because like I said, this is a beginner's makeup tutorial for a full face of makeup. If you're just running into work, pick what steps are important to you. I would say apply a primer, apply some concealer on the spot you want to apply, set it with a little bit of powder. You can go in with, skip the bronzer if you're not applying it all over the face, go in with a little bit of blush, top it off with a little bit of highlighter to give you some life to the skin. If you don't want to be bothered around with eyeshadows, get your bronzer and brush it through the eyes with a big fluffy brush. Go on with some eyebrow gel instead of the eyebrow pencil and gel. Dab a little bit of Aquaphor on the lips, set the face, and you're done. So you can do this in like 10 minutes, which I'm going to be posting like a 10-minute work tutorial coming up soon. But this is a beginner's makeup tutorial for a full face. This is glam. This is, if you add just a little bit more, this is full coverage, guys. I hope you got it today that makeup is supposed to be fun. Makeup is for everyone. Makeup is not serious. It washes off. Makeup is something to have fun with. It's something to be an extensions of you, just like your clothes. And I'm going to continue to give you drugstore finds that are just as good as the stuff you find at Sephora, guys. So if you found this video informational, if you learned something from it, if you like this video, make sure you like, share, please subscribe, guys. I'm here every Tuesday and every Thursday. I'm here to give you tips. I'm here to help you out, show you some makeup that's really good and some makeup that's not so great. So I hope to see you here next time. Make sure you follow me on Instagram at itsofficial_AshleyMarie. If you want to be kept up to date with what I'm up to on the days I'm not filming or not uploading. And I hope to see you here next time. Bye.